Welcome to this edition of the Boon of Wireless podcast, coming to you as always, high above the streets in northern New Jersey at ANJ Media. Yes, New Jersey. Andrew, did you know the famous 4-mile-long Atlantic City Boardwalk isn't exactly named for the wooden planks for which it was constructed, but for the man who designed it in the 1870s, Alexander Boardman?
No, John, I did not.
I wonder what they would have called it if he had a different name. Oh, well. Our guest today is a seasoned entrepreneur and advisor with over 25 years of experience in the telecommunications and mobile industry. He is the CEO of Boom Technologies Incorporated, a software development and wearable technology company that creates innovative products and solutions for the wireless and connected devices market. He is also the co-founder and CEO of Boom Mobile, a mobile virtual network operator, or MVNO, that offers affordable and flexible plans and services to customers across the United States. Jeff's core competencies include new business development, customer relationship management, product marketing, and contract negotiation. He has a proven track record of leading and growing successful businesses, launching new products and services, and expanding into new markets and segments. He is driven by his passion for technology, his vision for the future, and his commitment to his team and customers. Jeff is always looking for new opportunities and challenges to transform and evolve the industry. Jeff is a seasoned entrepreneur and advisor with over 25 years of experience in the telecommunications and mobile industries. So please join me in welcoming to the broadcast, Jeff Holley. Jeff, it's great to see you.
Hey, it's great seeing you too.
So you're coming to us today from Tulsa, Oklahoma, correct?
That is correct.
All right. What's going on in Tulsa these days, other than the heat that we're all having?
I was going to say it's the melting pot right now. I feel like
Okay.
It's just ridiculous here with the heat, but it's every year this way.
Okay. All right. So let's just jump into it and let's start off. Tell us what you were doing before you got into the wireless business. You started ECG 25 years ago. What did you see that told you that, hey, I can make a business out of this?
Yeah. So coming out of college, I actually went to work for MCI, and I was going door to door selling long distance phone service to businesses. And so after doing that and having really great success, I just kind of fell in love with what the sales process was and being able to kind of set my own hours and be able to navigate what I wanted to do as long as I was producing the numbers that they told me that I needed to produce.
How did that go? Were you top of the leaderboard or?
Yeah. So when I first started, I was just a sales rep. And within 6 months of being a sales rep, I was promoted to, this was in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then I was promoted to assistant district sales manager in Tulsa. And then at that point, I was there for about 3 or 4 months in that position. And then they moved me to a district manager, which meant that I was going to have my own sales team of 8.
Wow.
But meant that I was going to need to transfer to Kansas City. And so I transferred to Kansas City. And then over the course of about the next 8 to 10 months, our team led the nation in sales and ended up at a big awards ceremony down in Acapulco.
Nice.
Came back from it, got promoted to branch manager, which means I had 3 district sales managers and about 25 to 30 sales reps underneath me in the branch, with my direct report being in Denver, but that meant I would transfer to Omaha, Nebraska. And that I felt like was the armpit of, I just didn't want to be there. It was the branch that was in last place in the entire organization. And by 4 months, we were about mid-pack. We had rised to 50%. And then an incident took place that caused me to resign.
Okay.
And I moved from there straight into starting our own business, starting ECG.
Good. Well, first of all, the opinions of our guest are their opinions, not of the broadcast. And I actually like Omaha. I love their steaks. Anyway, so I'm sure it's a nice place.
Well, it's ironic because I'm just not. I love their steaks too. I love Omaha steak. But what I would say is I'm not a cold weather fan.
Okay.
at all. And the day that I moved there, it snowed and it didn't leave until like April, and I
Oh,
moved there
okay.
in October. And so it was just miserable.
Well, you're in an industry that I've been in as well for quite some time, and the only thing that is constant in our industry, as we talk about, is change. Nothing stays the same in the wireless industry. And you started the business as a young man, I assume, and things have changed since then. What? Tell us about starting Boom and the journey there, and the ups and downs, and then kind of finish up the question with what are the biggest changes from when you started out. You're probably selling, big bulky phones and all postpaid, and like everybody did. Now, where we are in the wireless. So take us through that journey.
Yeah, so it's just interesting because we have, for the life of our business, we have bought and sold every piece of communication that you can think about. We've done local phone service, we've done long distance, we started our own and built our own wireless networks, our own wireless customers, wireless internet, that is, VoIP. So we have walked the full gamut of what it is to wholesale a service and to turn around and bill it out from a retail perspective. And all through that journey, we have done that with a platform that we've always been willing to build our own platforms. We haven't gone and bought off the shelf software and have done it that way. We felt that they tied our hands too tight, and we weren't able to be creative. We weren't able to do some of the things that we enjoy doing in terms of the creativity. But roughly about 8 years ago is when we journeyed into the wireless business, and you could see everything else just kind of dying off. You can kind of see, obviously, the long distance customers dying off, the local phone service dying off. VoIP was just kind of still doing what it's doing today, which is just kind of being around. Um, with some other new technology coming out, VoIP's kind of getting a little bit of a kick to the curb right now, just with the SIM technology and the eSIM technology and stuff to that nature coming forward. But we knew 8 years ago that mobile was going to be around and was going to be around for a while. Whether it was in IoT, the Internet of Things, whether it was going to be in the actual handsets that we're using, the only thing that's going to really take the place of the mobile phone at this point would be some version of a satellite type phone,
which is upon us now, as we all know. Yep.
It is, and it's still going to be a ways out.
Yep.
I mean, there's not any, there's nobody in a rush to get there. Everybody's still trying to play with it, test it. I mean, It's very similar to autonomous cars, and how you've seen that kind of walk its way in, and so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the sat piece of it. But bottom line is that we're going to be using some version of this technology for some period of time, and the entering into the mobile space 8 to 10 years ago was painful.
How? Because you came, 8 years ago, not that long off, based on this industry of ours that's been around since the mid '80s, and really kind of took off in the '90s. Would I be right if I said that you were kind of late to the wireless market?
No, it's funny because when we entered the long distance market, people wanted to say that. I mean, I think we were like number 796 or something like that when we entered the long distance market, and we were up to 500,000 or 600,000 customers within a year.
Wow!
And so it wasn't one of those things where we thought we were early to the wireless market, mainly because it wasn't really open. It was like, yes, it's here. Yes, you can sell it. But boy, it's a very specific person that you had to sell it to in order to even come close to making sense in terms of the pricing. So the pricing was not very good. Number one, you could only sell to the underprivileged or underbanked, or I mean, it was a very nasty image of what the wireless industry was. You couldn't use the newer devices. They had to be on the main carriers for the first 6 months to a year before they could move it over to you. So, I mean, there was nothing that led the customer to you to say, you have an advantage and I want to come to you.
What exactly were you selling? Were you selling one of the government subsidy programs, or were you selling prepaid?
We started back with a company called Simplexity. I don't know if you remember them or not,
No,
but
no.
they ended up going out of business because they just couldn't handle the fact that there were so many rules that had to be followed in order to qualify a customer. The biggest change, I think, that changed everything was when the FCC mandated that the new phones now could be used by anybody. The moment that took place, it now no longer made the prepaid market, as we would call it, a eyesore. It was no longer. It started right then to make the change to say anybody could use the service now. It doesn't have to be low income, underprivileged, underserved, underbanked. That you or I could use the service now because now we could bring our iPhone over.
And they started financing the new phones, the
Yes.
iPhone and the iconic Samsungs, at the prepaid stores in the urban areas, which could get financing now. I don't know what the interest rates were, but they could get the same phone as you could by going to a corporate carrier store.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think that changed the market completely, and it started opening the competition up. More people started to hear about it, because if you weren't challenged credit wise or financially, then you really didn't know that there was another option.
Yeah.
It wasn't until the fact that those doors opened up that people started to hear about the other options.
So 8 years, 10 years ago, you started out as probably the first employee. How many people were there when you opened the doors day one?
Fortunately, we were in a situation where we had already had a previous business that handled all customer service, that handled all billing issues. So naturally, walking into the wireless space made it really easy for us because we didn't have to open any new doors. We didn't have to hire any new customer service. We were in a better position than most because we already had a base of people that we were paying to operate a business that we already had, and we were just adding a service to that.
Got it. And today, how many employees?
Today, we sit at probably right at 40.
Okay, good. You're doing a lot of things for 40 people. So looking back now over the last, not just the last 10 years in mobile, but the 25 years, if you had a chance to go back and speak to the younger Jeff Holley on what you've learned, what's some of the things you would caution young Jeff on to be aware of or to look out for? What would you tell him to do differently that you did?
Boy, that's a tough question, but I like it because I love learning from my experiences and my failures. And so I would caution the younger Jeff to always know that it's going to take more time than what anybody tells you, and always know it's going to cost you more money than you think it's going to cost you.
There you go. Yeah.
And those two things, had I known, preparation could have been a lot different. And you learn a lot of things when you're not prepared well, and whether it's financially or systematically. There's just the things that come up. You just don't realize the amount of time it takes to change things, fix things, or move things.
Okay. That's excellent. Good advice for the younger folks out there that want to get into our crazy industry. It's crazy, but it's not going anywhere.
No.
Running up to today's chat with you, we talked about a lot of stuff that you're working on. So let's let our viewers and listeners know some of the things that Boom Mobile and Boom Technologies is doing now. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, so we got our hands in quite a few different things. One of the things that I saw taking place about 2 years ago was when Ryan Reynolds jumped in with Mint Mobile.
Yes.
I told my team, I said, listen, there's going to be an opportunity that we can jump on here that if we start now, we can be ready by the time if I think that what's going to happen is going to happen, then we need to start now because it's going to take us about 2 years to get to that point. And I believe that when Ryan did that, I was like, man, there's going to be an exit here. It's going to create a windfall of opportunity for us to engage other influencers, celebrities. And so we started on our platform to completely rebuild and relaunch ourselves as an MVNE as well as being an MVNA and an MVNO.
Okay, so that's for our listeners, the viewers that don't know all of our acronyms. MVNO is basically a reseller from the carriers. They buy minutes and data and they repackage it under their own name. Consumer Cellular is a MVNO of a couple carriers. Boost Mobile was a reseller, an MVNO for Sprint, then T-Mobile, and then we're spun off to Dish. So an MVNE is an enabler. That's the platform that sits on top of all the different pillars that you have to use to run your business and communicate to everybody. And the MVNA is an aggregator. If you're an entrepreneur, want to get into the wireless business and you don't have the ability to make that multi-million dollar commitment to one of the carriers, you go through one of their aggregators, which basically aggregate a lot of business and then they go directly to the carrier. Is that pretty much, did I get that right?
Yeah, great description.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
So we decided to set out to build this platform that was going to be a one-of-a-kind platform, one that couldn't be rivaled by any other platforms that were out there. You know, most of the things that you see from an MVNE standpoint are very just vanilla and generic. We like to bring the Neapolitan to the wireless industry and give the influencer, the business owner, the entrepreneur who wants to launch his own MVNO, the celebrity, the corporate account, whoever it might be, we want to give them the ability to have a variety of different options that they can offer to their customers. And so inside of our platform, we've built out the ability to do device financing that can be white labeled and co-labeled. We've done device procurement, accessories, device protection, as well as a rewards and loyalty program, as well as branded apps for the platform. And so we have built out a full-scale ecosystem that allows any, like I said, any celebrity, any business owner, any entrepreneur, any influencer that wants to launch their own mobile brand. We have a scenario that makes them look bigger and better. And just like really any of the MNOs, like the AT&Ts and the Verizons and the T-Mobiles, they're going to look a lot closer to them than they are going to look closer to an MVNO. And we do all of their licensing for them. We do all their 214 licensing for them, all of their commercial mobile resale licensing. They literally do nothing but sales and marketing.
Just send me the check is what we say.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask, is your MVNE and MVNA business open today? If I wanted to come to Boom, would I be able to get started?
You can, absolutely.
Okay.
So
Okay.
we had our flagship launch. Our flagship launch was a company that is powered behind Wesley Snipes called daywalkermobile.com.
Okay.
And then we
Daywalkermobile.com.
also had
Okay.
a couple of other soft launches of two other MVNOs. One is 420-mobile.com. It's a cannabis business that has launched their own mobile brand. Has some big names behind them and some big celebrities behind them as well. And then our third one that we have soft launched is a company called Rescue Mobile, which is rscumobile.com. They are a nonprofit organization with about 1,000 congregations behind them. And they are specifically dealing with women and children in the sex slave trade industry. And they are going and rescuing them from there. And the mobile plans that are purchased through them are benefiting those women and children that they're bringing in and the work that the fighters are doing and stuff to that nature. So it's kind of a cool spin to what you would normally see an MVNO launch as. And then we have, John, we've got probably 10 to 12 other MVNOs right now that we are different celebrities and influencers. We have one in particular that's going to be a really large announcement for us. The group that's coming behind it's over 100 million followers, and it's going to be a powerful lifestyle movement on top of the MVNO. So we're excited to be able to launch those guys and get that out there. And I see in probably the next, say, 15 to 30 days that we'll make the announcement of who it is.
Yep.
But it's going to be a great time. we pride ourselves in being different because we actually set these folks up as MVNOs.
Right.
And that is what brings them their values because they actually own their customer base.
Right.
This is not a white labeled program. They are fully licensed MVNOs, each and every one of these.
Okay, that's outstanding. And yeah, you and I have talked about this in depth, and I'm really excited about what you're going to bring to the market very soon. Are you, as Boom, exclusive to one of the MNOs, or can you spread it around?
No, we have multiple networks.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. 2 or 3, I would assume?
We have 2.
You have 2. Okay, good.
We are working. A lot of our celebrities and influencers would like to see us expand into the international market. And so we're not looking to add any more USA networks right now. The spots that we're looking to add to right now is adding in Europe and India and Africa and different countries inside of Africa for our celebrities and influencers. So we're looking to become an international MVNO and tied into with the MVNE process.
Terrific. Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
I
That's
appreciate
a long way from knocking on doors selling MCI long distance. So that's great.
It has been.
That's terrific. Looking forward to all of that very soon, and looking forward to the announcement in the next couple of weeks. So we have passed each other in the halls and the aisles at the All Wireless and Prepaid show in Las Vegas in August. Talk about hot. I always do. Is how dry heat. We've never met, but I'm sure that we've bumped into each other or cut each other off in line. Once again, you're returning as a diamond sponsor, which tells me and everybody else that you really find value in the All Wireless and Prepaid Expo. That'll be in August 27th, 28th at Caesars. What are you looking to accomplish at this year's event on top of what you've already laid out for us so far today about your is it about attracting more MVNOs, master dealers? What's the plan for Boom Mobile out there?
Yeah, so that show, John, quite frankly, has been one of the best shows we've ever set up at, exhibited at. And we've exhibited at different shows across the U.S. and different wireless shows across the U.S. And that by far has been not only the most productive, not only the most meaningful, but it actually has been the most financially productive show that we've ever been a part of. I mean, it's every year. It never surprises me that it's almost like it's like almost 7 years straight that the financial impact of that show has like almost doubled for us at the end of the show. And so this year's show is more coming back from, we had a great show last August. And so this is going to be kind of we want to come and thank those that were the success of the last year from that show, and then kind of throw both fists down and stomp our feet and say, okay, for the rest of you that didn't take notice of us last year, here we are. And you better start listening, because what most people aren't realizing, and there's maybe a little inside information here, that there's going to be a few changes take place. We're going to see a carrier out there or an MVNO out there that used to be pretty prominent, that a lot of dealers were moving, that are probably about showtime going to be in a very tough position to continue. And there are some aggregators that are in the same boat. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic when we get out there, because we have the opportunity to really make some movement with those two things taking place about the same time. So we're coming out with a full steam, full attitude of, hey, you need to come see what we're doing. You need to be a part of what we're doing. We're seeing exceptional growth right now with Boom Mobile on the MVNO side. We had our largest month last month. We're just growing. I mean, that side of the business, on the dealer side of the business, is growing tremendously for us.
Great. If you have your ear to the ground in wireless, like I know a lot of us do, I know exactly who you're talking about, and it's going to be earth shattering. Sorry, folks, can't say anything more about it. But yeah, I think last year Robin Tobias and her team welcomed over 4,000 people, over 100 exhibitors, and this year is going to be even bigger. I don't know if they're going to hit 5,000 attendees, but I think they're going to definitely come close. It's just a great event. And the nice thing about that event is you never go outside. It's so darn hot that we find enough to do inside the casino and the exhibits and everything else. So it's a good time.
Well, it's a short enough show.
Yes.
And the people that are there are decision makers.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And that's what makes it so good.
I have told my clients in our Atrium Unlimited consulting business, if you're not going to this show, you're wasting your time and my time. You need to be at the show if you want to be in this business, especially some of my clients that have terrific differentiators and are launching about the same time as the show is. I've got a couple clients that are going to be launching as well in the MVNO business. So, yeah. So, Jeff, obviously you are very bullish on the wireless industry's continued growth, as am I, and as are most people. What are the couple things that excite you the most about what's on the horizon in the wireless industry?
As every day passes, the average consumer, I mean, what most people don't realize is like internationally, MVNOs are surpassing the MNOs on daily growth internationally. We're just now starting to get to that point, I think, in the US, where the average consumer sees this as such a commodity that they really don't care who the service is through, as long as it works, as long as they can get good customer service, and it's somebody that they want to pay. And so if they find a service that works just like their service and it's with somebody that they want to support, they're more than willing to now support them. Whereas in the past, I don't think that it's been that open. Everybody thought they had to be with one of the big threes in order to get the best service. I think that what I like about it and what I love about it right now is that we're starting to see a swelling of people, especially with inflation the way that it is and people looking to cut costs and stuff of that nature. I think that we're starting to see a swelling of people to just go, hey, I'm willing to try that. And once they do, they're like, man, this is no different than what I had.
So over the past 5-6 years, we've seen, I think, the carriers, the MNOs, as we call them, I think embrace that same philosophy and strategy. You know, Metro by PCS is now owned by T-Mobile. It's a brand. Boost is a brand of Dish. Cricket is a brand of AT&T. And I'm missing one. Who am I missing? Another big one. Total is, on fire right now, is a brand of Verizon, and all those MVNOs that were part of TracFone are now Verizon. And I think you're right. This is going to continue. And, from my perspective, the gap between prepaid and postpaid and the gap between being an MVNO customer and a customer of the carrier directly has really almost, disappeared. Like, for example, in my opinion, with prepaid versus postpaid, you look at it now, I mean, it's like your cable company, if you're still using, your broadband, you're paying in advance. You're in effect prepaying for that service. The only real differentiator between being postpaid and prepaid, if you don't re-up your prepaid service in 30 days or whatever your plan says, they shut you off. Whereas in postpaid, they keep you going, send you a couple nasty grams, and then eventually send collections after you, which is an added expense. So maybe that's why the carriers are so much more embracing prepaid. If you don't pay us, thank you, goodbye. And the MVNO customer versus the direct to the carrier customer, again, in my opinion, is domestic roaming, which is also being offered now by a lot of MVNOs because they've got customers that do go to those areas that they need to roam in. But how many? Is it 1%? Is it 0.5%? Is it 10%? They know their algorithms and their customer data. So, yeah, it's really becoming, difficult to look at what is the difference between pre versus post and MVNO versus carrier customers.
Yeah, for sure. I've almost gotten away from using the word prepaid because it's so negligible that it's the difference between them. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with you 100%. I loved that Ryan went on with Mint and that Mint just went out with all those commercials, because it just opened the eyes for everybody. I mean, I'm a huge proponent of competition. I don't mind competition. So I love seeing that, because all it does is make people aware that there's something different.
And if there's no competition, you fall into complacency. We've seen it happen too many times. Well, Jeff Holley, it has been a pleasure. We've been trying to get you on the podcast for quite some time, and we're glad we finally got it done today. Before we leave, I have to do a little housekeeping, and very proud. I don't know if you've seen this yet or not. It's the latest edition of CIO Review Magazine. They do a nice article on me and my company, Atrium Unlimited Consulting. So you can take a look at the link down there. It's a subscription-based magazine, about 100,000 subscribers, but you can also go online and look at it at the website you're seeing right now. So that's what's going on in my life.
Congratulations, Jon.
Thanks, Jeff. So we really look forward to seeing you in Vegas. I'm sure we'll be talking before then. Looking forward to seeing the growth of your both your enabler and your aggregator projects you're working on, and also very excited to hear about the big announcement that's coming out very shortly. So Jeff Holley, Boom Mobile, thank you very much for coming on the podcast today. And that'll wrap it up from us, from the Boon of Wireless podcast. We will see you next time.